That's a big job. I don't know if this is enough time for this. Jay, also from Texas, founder and managing director of The Virtual Wild. He has over 20 years experience leading creative development teams. He is the founder of the award-winning interactive studio, The Virtual Wild, working directly with brands and partner agencies to redefine traditional entertainment, sales, and marketing experiences. Their work is trusted by world-class organizations, including Leidos, GSNETX, Siemens, Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas, Crowe Museum of Nature and Science, DXC Technology, and the U.S. Air Force, to name a few. And we're going to have this conversation now, and we'll leave time for a 5-minute Q&A. So think of your answers, and I'll have the microphone walking around and getting your questions answered. So let's welcome them to the stage.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. Again, thank you for being here today. So as she just mentioned, my name is Jay Rutherford. I'm the founder and managing director of the Virtual Wild. And so we're here to talk about the high-level process of how the Virtual Wild and the Girl Scouts have been building a number of innovative STEM projects. And all of these STEM projects have a common goal of elevating the Girl Scout experience, presenting STEM-based curriculum in fun and engaging ways, and then opening doors to STEM-based careers for the Girl Scouts to pursue.
And I'm Crowe. I'm the Chief Program Officer of Girl Scouts of Northeast Texas, based in Dallas and the surrounding Northeast Texas area. Thank you so much for coming to listen to the ways that we are partnering to really open moments of girls to engage in STEM careers. So we're joined here today by Remy the Robot. She is our STEM mascot for girls, and we'd like for you to take, isn't that awesome? We'd like for you to take a look at this video showcasing GeoQuest.
Here at the STEM Center of Excellence, we can really bring girls to STEM and bring STEM to them in a new way. So whether it's coding, using robotics, underwater exploration, as well as getting a chance to look at the stars, we're really trying to make sure that we capture experiences that the girls can take beyond the school experience and really apply it to their life. With the GeoQuest app, what we really wanted to do was elevate an experience that we had out here for the girls in order to understand the geology of the space and make it elevated and more sophisticated so that when they come out here, they know about the history and actually the careers that are involved with geology. Our experience working with Virtual Wild has been invaluable. It helped us see how we can truly elevate each element out here, how we can see a project from storyboard to finish, and trying to see, are we making the STEM Center truly a one-of-a-kind experience that involves STEM?
Great. So yeah, that was the case study video that we made of the GeoQuest. That was our first project that we built with the Girl Scouts. And so the Girl Scouts have a camp, like we described there in the video, that's outside of Dallas, and it's called the STEM Center of Excellence, and it's around 90 acres in size. And so something that's really unique about this camp is that it's built on a fault line where ancient geology and ancient ground and strata underneath the surface that we interact with on a daily basis is exposed there. And so we just thought this is such a cool opportunity that we have to make something that allows Girl Scouts to have the experience of being able to interact with topics like paleontology and geology firsthand. We just thought it was too cool. So what we did is we built an interactive nature trail that's half mobile app with augmented reality features where Girl Scouts can dig up virtual fossils as they're walking along the trail. And it's half a physical digging experience where they can dig up actual physical 3D fossils at the end of the experience too, so that they don't just have their nose inside a device the entire time, so they have a chance to actually experience something in the physical world as well. And so the app inspires exploration using augmented reality and Bluetooth beacons. And you'll see there on the top right that we've got a number of different bits of scientific data and fun facts about the fossils that they found. We also make sure that we quiz the Girl Scouts to be sure that they're retaining some information along the way, so you actually can't proceed down the trail unless you answer some just general quizzes to make sure it's actually sinking in. And then once you get to the end of the experience, we pull back the curtain and we expose all the different STEM-based careers that went into the making of this app. And we also offer ways for the Girl Scouts to immediately get involved with those STEM-based careers, such as earning badges or different activities that are available to their planning, to their program planning when they're a Girl Scout. And so we found that this model, this formula of making sure that applications are easy to use or content's easy to use, that it's easy to access, that you gamify content, and then you include all the different STEM-based careers and curriculum, and then you show the girls, or you show your target audience of how to connect the dots to get more involved with those different curriculums is the winning formula in our minds of how to create some really, really great STEM-based experiences. So since the project's launched, it's actually won 2 first-place awards with the American Marketing Association. So the first award is for emerging tech, and the second is for nonprofit marketing. So diving a little bit further into our process of how we approach STEM experiences, these are the 3 kind of priorities and the 3 categories of how we work with clients to really pull the right information to the surface so that we can build the best experience possible. So we focus on the why to begin with. This is probably the most important because the why, once we can answer the why of a project, why it actually is going to be built, why there's a request for us to actually build something, and we can take ownership of that conversation so that we can make sure that we're part of those conversations and helping to lead the charge or helping to move forward with whatever the strategy is of building that project. It's the best way to make sure that whatever information our clients have and whatever information we have, they merge together into building the best possible experience. And so the how really relates to our abilities to integrate high-level design and high-quality technology into our projects themselves, and also making sure that it aligns back to the why. And then the wow, that's all the fun stuff. That's incorporating the latest cutting-edge technologies and just all the cool things that are happening out there, augmented reality, Bluetooth beacons, VR, whatever it is, and making sure that whoever interacts with the actual projects, they really remember it because they really thought, wow, that was amazing, and I also really learned something from this experience. And so all this really allows us to build incredible experiences for our clients. And so even the name, the virtual world itself, it all comes from the idea that because our industry is changing so rapidly and it's growing on a regular basis, we really see ourselves as explorers in a new digital world. There's just so much going on. Nobody even knows what the rules are of how some of these technologies are going to be applied and how they're going to impact people in the future. And so it's really fun being at the forefront of whatever those technologies are on a regular basis. So it looks like, okay, there we go. So to show you a little bit more about the process of how how the process I just described has been used on other projects that we built. Some of those were described in the introduction in my introduction a little while ago. You can see on the left here, we built a facial recognition app for the Crowe Museum of Nature and Science, for the Texas Instruments Engineering Hall that's recently been launched there. This middle project is for Leidos and actually for GSNETX, who's a subsidiary of Leidos. So Leidos had designs for a human landing system for the Artemis space mission to the moon that's coming up in 2024, and they were shortlisted with SpaceX and Blue Origin, and so they needed a way to visualize all of their designs and then send that information to Congress and to NASA so that they could make their final vendor selections. So we built that tool for them. And then we also built this web platform you see over on the right here for Siemens, and this is a really fun and innovative project too because they needed a way to visualize all their complex digital twin manufacturing capabilities across multiple industries and in real time collaborate with their clients through video conferencing so they could walk them through this very, very complex story. So the same process, even though each of these looks very different, the same process of like really owning the why of any of our client requests, implementing a strong design and programming or engineering skills, and then having this wow factor be included in them. It's essential to the formula to creating great work. So we found great success in this, and so yeah. So now, as a result of all this, that we're actually able to solve core business problems for our clients. That's one thing that I think also really sets us apart in the work that we're doing, is we make sure that work doesn't just look cool, but it's actually moving the needle on whatever the business objectives are of our clients. So with that being said, Ashley, if you don't mind, please say a little bit more about your mission and the work that the Girl Scouts are doing in our community.
That's great. Next slide, please. Okay. Great, so this is our beautiful STEM Center of Excellence. So I'm speaking to a room full of STEM professionals, but I want you to think back on when you were a kid and maybe you had an experience outside of the classroom that really gave you this spark to pursue your STEM career. It could have been a field trip, could have been on vacation with your parents or watching a TV show. But imagine if you're an 8th grade girl and you got to actually build an underwater robot. You actually got to drive that robot in an obstacle course. Think of the growth mindset challenges that girl went through, and think of that sense of accomplishment that she had getting it. It took her hours to build, and just the wonder and kind of the light bulb moment of STEM. So that is what the STEM Center of Excellence in Dallas is built for. We have just finished raising $15 million to transform a very traditional old Girl Scout camp into a living, learning laboratory that its sole focus is to get girls into STEM careers. We want girls to have that STEM light bulb moment. We want them to say, I can have that STEM identity. So they'll take those advanced placement colleges in high school and pursue that degree in engineering. All over the STEM Center of Excellence, all weekend long and all summer long, girls are exploring cybersecurity, robotics, engineering, mechanical engineering, space science, you name it. And now they get to experience this beautiful GeoQuest. And that is where GeoQuest lives. It lives at the STEM Center of Excellence. So I want to talk a couple of very deliberate things that we've already seen that GeoQuest has done. So in addition to the 6,000 Girl Scouts that we serve every year at the STEM Center, we also have the privilege of serving 4,000 co-ed youth in the Dallas Independent School District for field trips, the very traditional field trips. And we were able to start those back up this year. We're so honored. But 2 8th grade girls actually went through the GeoQuest experience, and they in fact had that light bulb moment. These girls came from very poor parts of Dallas, had not spent much time in nature at all, were astounded by the beauty of the woods. But they had that beautiful experience in a balance of tech and nature, and they actually had that light bulb moment. The girls actually said to my team, what's a geologist? What's a paleontologist? You mean I can do this career? So we're so delighted that we're able to partner with the brilliance of Virtual Wild to actually make our dream and realities of the STEM Center come true. So just a little bit about Girl Scouts. When you think about Girl Scouts, what do you all think of? Yes, and I have boxes for you today. I might have to split the Thin Mints to make sure everyone gets something. So yes, you get it after you ask a question maybe. But yes, so people really think of Girl Scouts as cookies, crafts, and camping, right? We are all those beautiful and important things, but we are so much more. And that's what I want you guys to leave here today, thinking about Girl Scouts in a new light. We are transformative. We are relevant. We are 2.5 million members strong. And I don't know if you knew this, but almost every woman astronaut who has been in space was a Girl Scout. So that means a third, right? That's cool, right? So that means a third of all missions in space have had a Girl Scout at the helm, and that is pretty cool. I love this quote by Juliette Gordon-Lowe. She's the founder of Girl Scouts, and I really want you to think about your work and what you all do, and consider partnering with a nonprofit. Maybe Girl Scouts, maybe it's not, but consider what gifts and talents can you bring. The whole reason Jay and I are here is to really get you to think of how you can make an impact on youth in this world in a very deliberate and meaningful way. So GeoQuest was really just the spark in the beginning of our journey together. Before I met Jay and his amazing team, I was literally like Frankensteining our apps at the STEM Center. I was like saying yes to every funder, and I have just such a disparate realm of apps there. So when we hired Jay to do Virtual Wild and another project you'll see in a minute, he really said, let's take a step back and really think through what your strategic imperatives are and how we can really formulate a digital experience throughout all of the STEM Center camp to really impact all your stakeholders. So now we're on a journey to do a 5-year digital experience roadmap that encompasses all of these things, but really is married to our imperatives, but also gives me very tactical things that I can go to fundraisers to get funding for. And all of this is in the vein of making a very good experience for our stakeholders, and not just at our STEM Center camp, but we're gonna do this also at our horse camp, at our waterfront camp. Not that they'll become STEM camps, but what can Jay and his brilliant team come up with for that user experience to make lives so much easier for our girls and our volunteers?
Great, thank you, yeah. And so as far as the framework of how we're building projects in the future, what we realize is the best way to build projects in this environment is to make sure that those projects map directly to the timeline of being a Girl Scout. So this is really going to be the structure of how we focus on categories or buckets of effort that we move forward into this 5-year plan. So as an example, upper funnel and recruitment. So, how are we going to create all sorts of innovative projects that are going to get Girl Scouts excited or young girls excited about the brand the first time that they see the brand and interact with it? Education and quality of life projects. So GeoQuest is a great example of an educational quality of life project that takes place actually on the camp itself. So we have a number of ideas that we're going to be unfolding for those. Transitioning into careers. We saw there's a big opportunity here for all of the skills that girls pick up and learn while they're Girl Scouts. How can you visualize those and make sure that those are illustrated to potential employers, so as you're transitioning out of being a Girl Scout on a regular basis, that you can, or even if you're not transitioning, but just how can you visualize all that to employers so they realize that you're capable of so much more than maybe just what's in your GPA and some of the things you learned in a traditional schooling experience. And then the last is the alumni support bucket. So we also realize that there's a great opportunity for us to build additional platforms and tools that allow former scouts that haven't been very active to be involved back again with the updated day-to-day message of what the Girl Scouts are doing, and potentially even become advocates or ambassadors for scouts that are moving into the professional workforce, and also provide potential fundraising opportunities for those alumni to get more involved. So again, these are the different categories and the ways that we're going to be building projects into this 5-year plan. So you might ask what we're up to now. So we built GeoQuest. It's been a huge success. What we're up to now is we're building another project for the STEM Center of Excellence. And there's a campaign that's out there that's been supported by and started by Light of Health Philanthropies. It's actually been at the Central Park Zoo, and it's been installed for a while now in Dallas at a major mall in the center of Dallas. And so the campaign is called If Then. So if you can see them, then you can be them is the idea. So there's life-size statues of these incredible women that have done all sorts of amazing things that are visualized in these spaces so that they're inspiring young girls to come up and be like them when they see them. So what we've done is we've taken those life-size statues and we've miniaturized them, and we're creating an object recognition table. And the idea is that when Girl Scouts place these objects on the screen or on the bottom table down there, all of these assets from the Light of Hill asset catalog are presented on screen, and videos of that ambassador are played up top as well. And so it's meant to be an inspiring message of learning about what that ambassador is all about, and then again connecting the dots of how the Girl Scouts can begin to become more like those ambassadors. So we've even included Girl Scout badges that they can earn immediately as well once they've seen these different ambassadors. And so, yeah, again, thank you very much for being here today. We're really, really excited to have spoken in front of you, and we're going to be here on site throughout the rest of the day. So please feel free to come up and say hi, ask us any questions. Feel free to follow us on social media, and we'd love to just continue to show the great work we're doing with the Girl Scouts.
Well, thank you.
Let's give it up for these two. Thank you so much. We're going to move into Q&A. We have 5 minutes, so we've got some questions already. All right. Coming down to you. Thank you. Oh, I should probably turn it on again. It is now.
As a past Girl Scout, just a question, which is, I know one of the key components of like scouting is developing leadership in girls and the ability to lead teams or troops or whatnot and grow into leadership. How do you propose, or is there some plan of action on how to do that through some of these platforms, which I think could be really creative ways to practice leadership? Any thoughts there and any ideas? And a second fun question, what is your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
What is your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Good question.
I think
great.
Thin Mints are mine. They're really good, but thank
There
you.
you go.
I will let Jay follow up, but we are getting ready to go through a very deep dive. He's going to audit a lot of our systems, so leadership is still a critical component. That is what we stand our promise to the community on. We want to build girls of courage, confidence, and character to make the world a better place, and we take that very seriously. But Jay, I'll let you tackle how we're going to kind of weave maybe leadership. We haven't really thought about that, but I know we will.
Right, we haven't incorporated a ton of leadership programs into it just yet. I think that will certainly come over time. We're about to move into a 6-month audit process with Deloitte to actually go through a number of systems that the Girl Scouts have in place. And so certainly a number of programs and ideas like that will come to the surface for sure.
But thank you. That's great.
Got a question right there.
Yes. Hi, also as a former Girl Scout.
Love it.
I'm just curious, are you working or looking into working at all with girls on working in AR themselves or XR themselves at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, incorporating the broader community into the message that we're showing here, I think there's absolutely a place for that. And That has to do with alumni support or transition as well, right? Or it could be recruitment as well. So I think there's a ton of opportunities for us to include just the broader work that's being done with women in AR. Yeah.
And that's what If Then can really capitalize on too, is
Right.
we have a second rendition of that. But if you have any ideas, email me, you can help me do
Right,
that.
yeah, reach out, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the slides mentioned AR providing an opportunity for grasping of abstract concepts. I think that's one of the superpowers of AR in my mind. I'm just curious if you could share any examples of abstract concepts.
In the context of GeoQuest as an example?
Yeah, or
Here, I've got a great one in the context of GeoQuest, right? So there weren't actually any dinosaur fossils that we were aware of that had been dug up in that or there had been some, excuse me, there had been some, but they were smaller and they were kind of like small seashells. Some of the larger dinosaurs that were actually illustrated in the experience themselves were buried a little farther away from the camp, but it was inside that same strata. So it's the abstract concept here of illustrating that these dinosaurs are available in the strata that you're now seeing and you're walking on without having to be super literal about that exact idea, right? That's just one example. So we still were able to bring that firsthand educational experience to bear in front of the Girl Scouts.
So also a former Girl Scout.
All right, yeah.
So I actually grew up in a very small town where, we're kind of farther away from the Girl Scout bases. Are there things that you're planning for the Girl Scouts that are kind of smaller troops, kind of off by themselves more without, adding these resources of having Bluetooth beacons and stuff like that?
Absolutely, there are. We do have a lot of platforms that troop leaders can utilize. One is called Jumpstart that gives girls kind of that to earn badges at home for STEM. It's all digital, but I think we're getting ready, as Jay mentioned, our Girl Scouts in Texas is getting ready to go through what we're calling a membership disruption, really trying to envision if we had to start Girl Scouts from the scratch, how would we create it? We're so beholden to volunteers and troop leaders, but what would happen if we kind of released ourselves and thought out of the box and allowed more girls to be in Girl Scouts that aren't beholden to having a troop leader? So we're really looking into that right now. So I love the rural aspect, so thank you.
So not a former Girl Scout, but two of my daughters are Girl Scouts, maybe through proxy. I work at Niantic and just wanted to see if, if you haven't downloaded, sort of the Lightship, and sort of like what are the two of your groups maybe thinking of, future components that you can kind of use for like the AR occlusion and all the things that we're doing. Because, when I saw GeoQuest, that was great, right? That resonated completely with Niantic's vision of getting people outside, exploring, and learning things. And so I think there could be a lot of great collaborative ways that we could work together. And just wondering if either of your teams had thought of any of those things quite yet. And if not, would love to talk more after.
I think 100%. We always see these fascinating videos that, that Niantic's putting out about people playing laser games when they're moving around in similar space, and just like the occlusion of like the Pikachu running behind different faces. So there's so many cool things, technologies that really speaks to that evolution of technology we were talking about before, where we have to stay up to the forefront of that all the time. And so by all means, we love to collaborate, and we should talk more about that. Yeah.
Is it time to wrap up?
Yep, time to wrap up.
Okay.
That was so many questions. Thank you so much. Let's give a really big round of applause for these two. That was fantastic. Thank you.